Okay, today we are tackling a total paradox that honestly leaves a lot of us scratching our heads. We're looking at exactly why your income doesn't automatically equal your wealth. We tend to think that if we could just make a little bit more money, all of our financial stress would just magically vanish. But as we're going to see today through some pretty eye-opening data, the actual number on your paycheck is only a tiny part of the whole equation. Let's dive right in.
Take a look at these two stickman doodles we've got here. Meet person A and person B. Now, they both make the exact same median household income, which is $80,000 a year. But fast forward 10 years and their lives look entirely different. Person A over here, they are living a life of financial freedom, just complete abundance. They're relaxed, comfortable, entirely secure. Meanwhile, person B is literally drowning in a sea of monthly payments, sweating, panicking, and just scraping by paycheck to paycheck. So what gives? How on earth did this happen? What did these two people do differently to end up in such drastically different situations on the exact same salary? Well, it all boils down to mindset. Your perception literally changes how you interact with money, the way you choose to spend, the way you choose to save. These choices eventually harden into habits, and it's those little daily habits that compound over time to create either massive financial success or massive financial distress. Let's move into section 1, the high income myth, breaking down why income does not just equal wealth. Like we just saw with our doodles, $80,000 is roughly the median household income right now. And a lot of people think, well, if I could just double or triple that number, my wealth building would just perfectly snap into place without any extra effort at all. But the data tells a completely different and honestly kind of scary story. Get ready for a crazy stat. Nearly 1 in 4 people, that's 25%, who make over $200,000 a year actually report that they are living paycheck to paycheck. And the reason? Insufficient income. I mean, think about that. How can someone making more than twice the median income claim they don't have enough coming in? Actually, scratch that. It's not even a math problem at that point. It's totally a behavior problem. Which brings us perfectly to section 2, surviving lifestyle creep and avoiding the trap. Lifestyle creep. You might know it as keeping up with the Joneses. It's basically the tendency to increase your spending right alongside your income. Let's say you get a raise. Suddenly, that perfectly good Toyota Corolla you've been driving, it doesn't seem quite good enough anymore. You start feeling like you need the BMW just to match your new job title. So you finance a car that's way too nice, you rent an apartment that's way too expensive, and boom, suddenly that incredible wealth-building tool of a high income is completely wiped out. True wealth isn't about looking rich, it's about building a rock-solid financial foundation. So how do we actually fix this? Listen, you shouldn't feel guilty about enjoying the fruits of your labor, for sure, but you need a system. Check out this split. You want to aim for a healthy 60-40 split for any new income. Whenever you get a raise or a bonus, direct 60% of that new money straight toward increasing your savings and investments, and then let yourself use the remaining 40% to upgrade your lifestyle. This just guarantees that your net worth is always growing faster than your spending. All right, section 3, the debt and ignorance trap. These are the silent wealth killers. Let's look at a super common everyday example. Credit cards. The average monthly payment on a credit card is $272. But here's the thing, the average American doesn't just have one card, they have almost 4, 3.9 to be exact. When you multiply that out, people are walking around with over $1,000 in monthly payments. Imagine literally carrying around a heavy backpack stuffed with $1,000 of bills every single month. It just drags you down. And here's the real kicker, the devastating opportunity cost of that debt. If, instead of paying off credit cards, you were able to take that same $1,000 a month and invest it at a pretty conservative 7% rate of return, over 10 years, that would grow to over $170,000. We're talking life-changing money here, just entirely eaten up by interest payments to the bank. So why do we let this happen? Well, a study by RTI International found that individuals incorrectly estimate their own expenses by nearly 30%. 30%! People just aren't taking an active role in their financial lives.
we tend to stick our heads in the sand because, let's face it, ignorance is bliss, and looking closely at our wasted money is actually pretty painful. To put that 30% error into perspective for a second, if your monthly budget is $5,000, underestimating your spending by 30% means you are flying completely blind on a whopping $1,500 every single month. That's a massive leak in the boat. Just think about what finding an extra $1,500 in your budget could do for you right now. Getting the clarity to just track your money is the first massive step toward turning this whole thing around.
Let's flip the script and look at how to win. Section 4, the power of time and compounding growth. Okay, I want to introduce you to two more Doodle characters to really visualize this. On the left, we have Manny the mutant. Manny starts investing $500 a month at age 20, but then he completely stops at age 30, never puts in another dime. On the right, we have average Alan. Alan waits a bit. He starts investing that exact same $500 a month at age 30, but he keeps going, month after month, all the way until he's 65.
Now, look at the actual out-of-pocket cash they contributed. Manny only put in a total of $60,000 over his short 10-year window. But Alan, investing for 35 years, put in a massive $210,000 of his own money. Alan literally contributed more than 3 times as much cash as Manny. So, here is the literal million-dollar question. By the time they both reach age 65, who do you think has more money sitting in their account? It has to be Alan, right? I mean, he put in way more money for way, way longer. No way. Shockingly, Manny ends up with $343,000 more than average Alan. Despite contributing less than a third of the cash, Manny totally wins. Why? Because he gave his money the absolutely crucial component of time to grow upon itself. That is the magic of compounding growth. It's what Albert Einstein famously called the eighth wonder of the world. Starting early mathematically beats starting late and investing forever. Which brings us to our final part, Section 5, pay yourself first. Let's talk about automating your wealth.
So, how do you make sure you're actually investing like Manny? Well, it really comes down to 3 steps. First, you have to treat your savings and investments just like any other mandatory bill. It gets paid before anything else. Second, set up automatic transfers on payday, so that money moves before you even see it in your checking account. And third, by doing that, you completely remove the human temptation to spend it. Making bad habits harder and good habits automatic is absolutely a proven path to becoming a millionaire.
Ultimately, it's all about that abundance mindset. Listen to this quote: "Money is a tool for growth, not consumption." When you really adopt this mindset, you start seeing the immense value in making just a few short-term sacrifices to secure a lifetime of long-term wealth. You stop worrying about what car your neighbors drive, and you start focusing entirely on your own financial independence. So, as we wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with this final provocative question. What is your next financial step? Seriously, are you going to start tracking your expenses today to find that missing 30%? Are you going to log into your bank right now and set up an automatic transfer to pay yourself first? The choices you make today will literally define whether you end up broke or rich down the road. Will your money work for you, or will you spend your whole life working for it? Thank you so much for exploring this with me, and I highly challenge you to take that next step today.
Freedom isn't given, it's built, and it starts with what you do next.